In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp.
Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm doing The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Such a classic, such a beautiful melody. There's not a ton to learn. It's the same chord progression for every verse, though there's some weird timing stuff, but I'll talk you through that. I'll also give you some optional tricks to differentiate the different verses and build your energy as the song goes on. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description that's going to help you follow along and see where the words and the chords line up with each other. And this song is in the key of F sharp major. So it's got all 5 of the sharps in it, although maybe it's more accurate to say it's in D sharp minor, the relative minor, same collection of notes. And just so you can get the octave here, this is middle C. Let's start out with the intro. It's just a measure of D sharp sus2. Of course, we're going to play it in an arpeggio. So here is a D sharp sus2. We've got D sharp, F, and A sharp. And we're going to need to think in eighth notes right off the bat. So we're in 4/4 time. This measure gets 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're dividing the beat in half, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And we're going to place a note from that chord on each one of those hits. It's going to go D sharp, A sharp, F, A sharp, D sharp, A sharp, F, A sharp. So bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top. And I just recommend looping that around a little bit. Just start slow till you really get a feel for it. And really that D sharp sus2 arpeggio goes around for more than one measure, because after you do the one measure, 1 and 2, 3, 4, hello, darkness, my old. But that measure's at the beginning of the verse. Let's talk about the verse. Here's the chords for the verse. And like I said, it's basically the same chord progression for all the verses. So I'm just going to walk you through all the notes you need for these chords. Not going to worry about the arpeggio yet, which is an optional thing to do just in the first verse. But so we've already got that D sharp sus2 for a measure. Then we've got a C sharp major. That's going to be C sharp, F, and G sharp. And then back to, well, not back, the first time on just a regular D sharp minor, D sharp, F sharp, and A sharp. And notice there are 2 measures of each, the C sharp and the D sharp minor. So we've got so far 1, hello darkness, my old friend, 2, 3, 4, 1, I've come to talk with you again, 2, 3, 4, 1, because the vision softly. Okay, so now we're going to go to this B major chord. And by the way, we're going to add left hand in all the other verses, but we're keeping it just right hand for this really kind of quiet, gentle first verse. B looks like this: D sharp, F sharp, and B. So it's an inversion on a B major triad. And then we move to F sharp major. Once again, this is an inversion. That's going to be C sharp, F sharp, and A sharp. And it goes back and forth between those a couple of times. And the timing here does get a little bit weird. So as for the fingers, going from the B to the F sharp, I kind of like using my second finger there, so you can just kind of pivot between them. You could also do it like that. If I'm not paying attention in the playthrough, I will probably do a mix of both. Both work. In terms of the counting, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So this is a little bit weird. It's just 2 beats here of the F. It's a measure of 2/4 time before, of course, we're going to hit the B at the beginning of the next line. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision. Okay, so now we are on 2 measures of B. Vision 2, 3 that was planted in my, back to F sharp for a full measure, brain still remain 2, 3, 4. So this part feels a little bit off. You end up on 6 counts really of that F sharp between the full measure, and then 2, 3, 4 on the D sharp minor. One more measure of 2/4 time on the F sharp here. So just 2. And that's within the sounds 2, 3, 4 of silence. Let me go through that whole last line one more time, giving you the counts. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains. 3, 4, and then 1. Within the sounds 2, 3, 4 of silence. And of course, we are going to do that arpeggio there. And I just want to say, heads up, each verse has a different combination of the 2-4. Sometimes those 2-4 measures are instead 4-4. I'm hesitant to get too bogged down in talking about the counting because really it's just based on the amount of syllables in the lyrics. Sometimes there are more words to fit into those measures, and he lets it drag out an extra couple beats. If you've been listening to this song your whole life and you just kind of know how it goes, you'll probably just do it right. And counting that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, that might even get in the way. But I feel obliged to let you know what's going on because it's kind of neat. Anyway, before we go on to the next verse, I just want to talk about the arpeggio because the way I'm going to do it is for this first verse, I'm going to be doing that same arpeggio pattern, the bottom, top, middle, top, back and forth on eighth notes that we did in the intro. So let's see how that sounds if we apply it to all the chords. And there's a couple little changes I'm going to make to the chords just for this. So of course we have the measure of the intro. Now we're in the verse. Hello, darkness, my old friend. So you could just arpeggiate on the C sharp major the way I showed you. And that's the way we're going to play the chord in other points of the song. Just at the beginning, though, it actually just arpeggiates on octaves. On piano, I don't think that sounds as good. I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to do root, octave, fifth, octave like that. So, hello, darkness, my old friend. I think that sounds really nice. I've come to talk with you again. So now we're doing the arpeggio just on the regular D sharp minor. 'Cause the vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. So I'm just doing the same exact pattern this whole time, just applying the shape to different chords. I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Just right at the end, on the last C sharp, I'm also going to do the thing with the octaves in the fifth. Within the sound of silence. So there's one measure of the D sharp sus2, and then there's going to be the D sharp that starts the second verse. Here are the chords for the second verse. Now, from here on out, most of the D sharps are just going to be D sharp minors without the sus2. And this verse starts with just hitting the chord like that. So from the end of the first verse, when you did sound of silence, then in restless dreams I walk alone. Okay, so now this is where we're going to bring in the left hand. For starters, just really keeping it super simple, just playing the root of each chord. So the note the chord is named after, not necessarily the lowest note the right hand's playing. So for the D sharp minor, we're going to play the D sharp there. I like third finger. And I'm going to just do quarter notes in the right hand. The energy is starting to build a little bit. Starting that rhythm on the C sharp though, because we've got in restless dreams I walked alone, 2, 3, 4. Narrow streets of cobblestone. So just step down to the C sharp there with my fourth finger. Neath the halo of a street lamp. So come down to my fifth finger for the B here, and I use my first finger for the F sharp. And like I said, even though we're doing the inversion in the right, we're doing the root in the left. I turned my collar to the cold and damp when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of the neon light that split the night. So here's a nice little moment that I think we should throw in at this point. Going from the F sharp to the D sharp minor to the F sharp, we've got these little passing notes on F, and those are on the eighth notes. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, like that. So you can throw that in and touch the sound of silence, and it ends on the regular D sharp minor. I'm going to add a few more optional details now. The first of which would be to do a little bit more rhythm with the left hand. 1, 2, and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. So playing on the and after 2 and the and after 4 in addition to beat 1 of the measures. 'Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turn my collar to the cold and damp. So that just gives it a little bit more energy. But another detail that I love are these little melodies hidden within the chords that they do. So it sounds like, in restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone. So my favorite one is the one here on the C sharp. The melody that you hear is da 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 da. So that's just stepping up the notes in the key there. So C sharp, D sharp, F, F sharp, and G sharp. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Although I like to just harmonize kind of the rest of the chord. You can do it like this. 1, just do the fifths, and then 2, and, so it's just stepping up there. 3, you can do the whole chord there on 3, but we hear the movement and kind of pick out that middle melody note. And then 3 and hit the F sharp, and then once again you can hit the full chord there, but we'll pick out this melody note because our ear just kind of latches onto that upward motion. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. If that's too tricky, you can totally leave it out. While that is going on, I'm not going to do the extra eighth note hits in the left hand because it just gets a little busy with. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3. Resume them there. And then if you want to keep doing that kind of thing, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. You can just do it with your second finger on an F there. 'Neath the halo of a street lamp. If you want to do it there, you can on that G sharp. I turn my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound. I also want to just add that here for the C sharp, I'm going to add this high octave. Just sounds a little better to me. I think that note does end up making it into the guitar voicing. So if you can make the stretch and you want to add that, I think it sounds good. Of silence. Okay, verse 3 is next. Here are the chords for verse 3, and I am going to play this one similarly, but I'm just going to get a little louder. One of the greatest things about Simon and Garfunkel is their dynamics. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but they have a lot of quiet to loud, and it sounds awesome. So, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs. So we just had a full measure of F sharp, where before in the last two verses it was 2/4 time. That's because the lyrics, instead of when my eyes, which was just happened really quickly, we have people writing songs. So again, don't get too bogged down in the counting, just feel it out with the words. All right, we are 3/5 of the way there. Moving on to verse 4, here's the chords for that. So the 2/4 measure switched. So this time we do have 2/4 where we had it in the middle line, but this is the first time where we don't have it in the last line. Now in this verse, for the first time, we are really reaching peak energy, and I am going to start doing octaves in my left hand. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Adding a little extra rhythm too, just on the eighth notes with my thumb, also optional. Hear my words that I might teach you. I did a little passing tone there. I think that sounds nice. Peace teach you. Take my arms that I might reach reach you. That's just a slightly more difficult version of the you can do on the F sharp. You can use 2 and 4 and include the F there as well. I might throw that in. But my words, so this one has the 2-4 there. Like silent raindrops fell. And then we kind of get quieter here. So I might just go back to single notes and echo 2, 3 in the wells of silence. So like I said, that is the first time we've had 4-4 for the F sharp in the third line. And it's because the words and echo 2, 3 in the, that takes a lot longer than just disturb the sound. So that's why that's there. All right, now we are on verse 5, the final verse. Here's what that's going to look like. No 2-4 time at all. So in both cases of the second and third line, it's sort of more wordy versions of the lyrics. So I'm going to keep up that energy. I know at the end of the last verse, we kind of got quiet again with the single notes, but then, and the people bowed and prayed. Going to lean back into the octaves there. To the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. Maybe throw that in. And the sign said the, so four beats there. Words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered 2, 3 in the sound of silence. So when we hit the D sus2 there, we're going to just go back. I'm going to let go of the left hand, and we're just going to go back to that arpeggio from the intro. And we've got a full measure of it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then another half measure, 2 beats of it. 1 and 2 and then on beat 3, just the regular D sharp minor, and I'm going to hit probably octaves in the left hand. It's a little bit strummy on the recording. You can go like that. I think it's a downward descending strum. Hold it out, and then the song is over. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I'm now going to play the whole song through so you can see how all the parts and details we've talked about fit together. But I just want to say, especially as we get into the 4th and 5th verse, I'm going to get into some of those more complicated rhythms with the octaves. And if you want to just keep it as simple as you need, just play and hold the chords with single bass notes the whole song, and just maybe get the energy by getting a little louder as it goes. That's totally legit. Whatever you need to play so you can just feel solid and be able to play and sing. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Also, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. Okay, here is my version of The Sound of Silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence.